more than anything, it's not about our talents or the fact that we're doing theater even though we don't have to. I feel very special, and I'm sure this is shared by most of the cast. We really need to develop our love for our country. I don't know if it's because of our culture that we love our family so much. We love our family more than we love our country. We will do anything for our family, but not everything for our country. And that is why we are where we are. And it's so special that Floyd and Dexter and God and the universe gave us this chance. So, me personally, I had to ask myself while I was preparing for the role last year, how much do you love your country, Charmaine? What have you been doing? And so when Adela says, you know, I should read more about my country, I should change the way I think, the way I look, I felt so guilty. Because really, as Charmaine, I don't think I have done a lot for my country. Not even a lot. Not enough. Like, did I vote every time there were elections? Did I really look for the best leaders? Did I even, try to get to know them before voting? No, parang okay lang, life goes on as long as I have, for most of us. So for you, it's not even inviting people to be here so that they can watch this magnificent play, but it's really about our country this time. We have to help each other love our country more and think about what's good for our country.
Good evening. I'm from ANC, January. I was just wondering, I don't know if you can answer this question, but how do we make Kundiman relevant to the OFWs? That's my concern after having spent some time abroad. Our younger generation of Filipinos growing outside of the Philippines. Because we talked about social media, and then there's this, you said earlier, different messages that the political climate of the Philippines is sending to the people outside of the Philippines. So how do we make it relevant to the young people? Thank you.
Well, as Rika's pointed out,
sorry, can I add?
Sorry.
Also, are you open to bringing this project abroad? Are you open to collaboration? Thank you.
That's a question that's often asked after we premiere a play. Can we bring this abroad? Then when they learn the costs, suddenly no one speaks to us anymore. They're so excited, sending 10,000 emails. Well, we want to bring it on, and then this is what it's going to cost. And that's already very big. Okay, going back to your question, I don't know if I'm right. But I think every time also that we listen to a Rey Valera song, to an Ogie Alcacid song, the strains of the Kundiman, that longing, that needing, that's directly traced. Can be directly traced to the emotion of the Kundiman. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that sentimentality, and maybe not so much what the Kundiman is as an 19th century, early 20th century form, but what it stands for, the way the Filipinos love, the way we're able to long for things and work for things and suffer and sacrifice for things. That's still in the Rey Valera, Ogie Alcacid mode. And then, of course, as Mika also pointed out, every time you sing Bayan Ko, or every time you sing Pilipinas Kong Mahal, that's a Kundiman right there that strikes at the deepest core of us.
There are a lot of groups who go abroad, Filipino groups who go, I think almost every year, to perform. Apart from the choral groups, we also have, I remember in the 70s, 80s, the group of Professor El Mumakil, Fides Cayuga Asensio, Frankie Asenio would go abroad, and that has been that's still happening until now. Almost every year, there's a Filipino performing group that goes abroad to the U.S. most of the time, and to perform Filipino music, traditional and up to the current. So
I just don't know. It's so hard because the budget, of course, and it depends on the sponsors. And I also know that a lot of our graduates, conservatory graduates here who are now studying, who are now professionals working abroad, in their concerts they still perform Filipino. They make it a point to add Filipino music into their repertoire whenever they have concerts. So there are attempts, there are efforts. So
Thank you. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone can answer. Since social media was mentioned, how do you deal with trolls? And how do you deal with fellow artists who don't agree with your views?
I don't deal with trolls. I don't have trolls. In real life, when I'm the kind kasi who doesn't, that's not what I do best. Social media is not what I do best. This is what I do best. So I will just try to do what I can. Like fighting on social media will not help my country in any way. It will not improve our situation. So I'd rather not. Kill them na lang with kindness. Maybe that's me, huh? Kill them with kindness. And forgive them for they know not what they do. Must I go on? Okay, you. Ano yung tanong? How do you deal with trolls?
Or those who fellow artists?
Or those who don't share sentiments. I think we really have to respect our differences of opinion. Democratic country tayo eh. Kailangan yan eh. Kaya nga tayo, demokrasya. Kailangan malatag lahat and then iiwan mo pa rin yun sa tao kung saan siya papanig. For you to feed kung ano dapat paniwalaan niya. Where's the democracy in that? So, ang hirap mag-judge na dapat dito tayo. Eh di intindihin mo kung bakit hindi siya agree sa'yo. And then, tsaka analyze where you stand. Now, if you don't agree, we still have to maintain respect for each other. Hindi pwede yung bastusan na nangyayari, sana hindi nangyayari, di ba? Pero ganun talaga. I think eventually and hopefully, we will come to a compromise kung saan tayo talaga magkakaisa para sa bansa natin. But until then, we deal with this. So, hahanapin natin yung tamang timpla, tamang balanse. Ganun talaga. Ang tagal nating nasakop na kung sino-sinong bansa eh. So, kaya din siguro importante that we revisit our history. Kaya din siguro tayo nagtatanong kung saan tayo papunta because, yun nga, yung mga millennial nga, hindi nakilala yung kundiman, di ba? So, I think, ganon, makinig tayo, mag-aral tayo, and then patuloy nating isipin kung ano ba talaga, what's good for all, na bawasan yung selfishness sana. Yun.
for trolls, ignore because we know naman the actual motivation of why they do what they're doing. So they're not out to communicate. And I think social media and Messenger is great to coordinate meetings, but it's not a great tool for actual communication. It's very manipulative, a lot of clickbait. So it really takes a one-on-one conversation. I've been fortunate enough to have conversations with people I didn't agree with politically. And after I had the conversation, it's just parang you find each other and it's like, dude, I love you pala as a person. And that's where you're coming from pala. I didn't know that's yeah, agree, disagree. Just have to, that's why theater is great because I think it's first actual communication, like really actually talking and connecting with someone. Even though it's a slow process, but it's really very effective to be able to communicate and understand and actually listen to someone. And I think that's the only way. It'll be a slow process, but that's the only way we will unite this country.
Unfriend. My social media is not a democracy. If your opinions differ from mine, I have no time for you because I know I will not convince you naman. Like Jenny said, they have their own already. So, but when you see each other in person, the friends, you still remain friends because you don't hear what you don't like to hear from them. It's so easy to unfriend. And your life will be very simple.
Yeah, I just blocked someone who spoiled the latest episode of Game of Thrones. Blocked!
Next question.
Nag-negate yung sasagot.
Okay, hi, I'm Jessica from Art Plus Magazine. My question is about the millennials' woke culture. Okay, as we mentioned earlier, Kundiman Party is very relevant at this moment. And millennials have this term woke culture, meaning the millennials perceive awareness of issues concerning politics and social injustice. Basically, the things that you see millennials post in social media about this kind of relevant things, relevant issues that we have now. My question is, how do you relate the woke culture to the values in Kundiman Party? That's my first question.
Are you woke?
Do you relate the woke culture?
To Kundiman Party.
Maybe for the characters, for your character, and how the characters discover.
That's why they're the directors,
As Antoinette, kasi it came from Bobby si Antoinette kasi is never siya naka-attend ng rally, but because of Bobby, she did. And then book Antoinette. Yes, ayun, but si Antoinette naman po ay sinusuportahan naman niya yung si Bobby, and then she has her own beliefs also, and then with Maestra and the Titas, yes.
Hello, ayun. Well, for Bobby, I think Bobby would be the kind of person to be relating to these people who are woke on Twitter, woke on social media. He's definitely that kind of person. To relate it to Kundiman Party, the values presented in Kundiman Party, I think, yeah, that's what Bobby represents. It's the kind of person who is woke. But at the end of the day, what do you do dun sa pagiging woke mo? Will you actually do something about it? Will you just continue to rant on social media and bloister na, woke ako, pero at the end of the day, wala kang gagawin. So, yun, if we're gonna relate this to the values of Kundiman Party, I hope a lot of people, woke people and non-woke people, millennials, everyone, I hope they get to watch it. Kasi I hope they get to see, and they get to introspect on ano ba talaga yung dapat kong gawin bilang Pilipino. Yun.
Yes, and add to that, parang since yung mga woke sa social media, at the end of the day, kung maingay sila sa social media, I mean, ano nga bang nagagawa nila para sa bayan outside that social media? I mean, kung woke ako sa social media, ano bang ginagawa ko outside internet, social media? I mean, may pakialam ba talaga ako? Or magaling lang akong maging keyboard warrior?
I think I understand where you're asking the question because you didn't see this play last year, right?
Yeah.
You have to watch the biggest premise of it. Oh, it's that. Your question, this is it. That's the whole thing.
Just for
How do
just in case, for those of you who haven't seen,
Yeah, there are.
Just a quick synopsis. The play is about Maestra Adela. Maestra Adela is a retired opera singer who turned her back on an international career to fight in the 1986 revolution. After which she decided, because of delicadeza, to turn her back on her public career and to just teach students. One of her the Titas visit her so often. They just love opera, her matatandang kelengke. Her latest student is Antoinette. And Antoinette brings into this rather protected Borghese circle the young Bobby, who's a social activist, and who also turns out to be the son of a senator. So that whole dynamic of being woke and finding the sensitivity of an older generation, of simply being just woke, that's the whole premise of Bobby's and the play. That's what it's about. Bridges the gap between the millennials, their sense of wokeness, and what you might call a nobler, quieter, more human sense of being committed. There's a beautiful line from the play. You rant about the government, Shemaine? Would you like you rant? Pina-perform na yung play, no? Sorry po, ha? Sorry po. Okay, Bobby, you wanna do the...
The scene?
So why do you
Bayad ko na kayo.
why Kundiman? Why do you teach it? He says it's Bobby, and she says,
What's my first?
Because
Even if you feel it is luma, matinis, irrelevant, I believe that it can make you a better person, braver, nobler. You go to all the rallies you want. You curse the government, demand for change, but unless it is here in your heart, ...
That's the whole crux of the place. Very interesting question. That's really what the whole place is about. A lot of people have read the play as a very political play, as it is in many ways. But it's also, I think, meditation on how our generations are so torn apart and how the older generation needs to learn how to adapt to social media, while the younger generation needs to get the humanism to balance the wokeness. Manood na lang kayo. Unless I ask them to perform another scene. Pero okay na.